Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Good morning, farmers. Let's start the day with talking to the wife.
Sorry.
What do you mean not now, sorry? We're going to talk to you whether you like it or not. Yeah, I know, it's been a few days since we talked. Even though we live in the same house.
Nice to see you, love. How are you?
Yep, sure does.
Hi, sugar.
Give her a compliment and then we'll tell her off to work. Basically also telling her we're grabbing her tractor to start the day.
You really look beautiful today.
Yes, I'm a real charmer. Okay, well, that too.
Hi, sugar.
And I hope when the update comes, I don't keep getting kicked out of the dialogue until we're done.
I am off to work. Have a great day.
So, to start today, obviously, if you watched last episode, we need to start slurring some of our fields because our storage tank is starting to get near the full mark. Also, the 3 fields that we are waiting to harvest, still not ready. But that's fine, we got plenty of work to do. So let's go up here and grab one of these slurry tankers. They should be both full. As we run over a boar. I'm not going to get around that tree and bush. So let's go this way. It is full, right? Yeah, okay. Because I've done that before, thinking that they're full, and one wasn't. Yeah, you better run. So we got some workers going again. Planting some seed in the fields around here. Great, now I gotta get used to this spread. I'm getting kind of used to Farming Simulator and how the spread works and that. Now I get used to doing this. I haven't done this in a while either. Doing some liquid spraying at 36 kilometers an hour. But we'll get some fields sprayed this morning. At least one tanker. And then we're going to seed some canola. We got a lot of canola to seed. I think there's 4 fields around the farm that we have to do. And obviously at some point that we're going to have to seed the big field as well. I just don't want to see the big field for a couple days. I spent the last, what, 3 days in it? But we'll get, hopefully we get about 3 fields seeded today. And we'll try to fertilize some more fields as well with some tankers. Maybe the other tanker. Let's get this little bit done right here. How much is left in the tank here? Come on, can I see it? Still at 73%, so we're doing fine there. How's this feel? So we're at 80%, and I still got some more to do, obviously. So hopefully we can get up to 90%. Because it's not that big of a field as it is, so every big section we do should get it closer. Let's see if that did 90%, 89%. You know, I'll call that good. I'm not going to go around trying to get up to another 1%. And really, something like this slurry is going to go to waste. We don't have enough to begin with, so let's not be too wasteful with it. Turn it off again. So this field we're at 86%. Hey, you know what? That's good enough. really, because we don't have enough for all the fields up here, like I said, as it is. But what we're going to do now, even though we've only used 30%, we're going to top this off and head over the hill. Just to get our storage tank down a little bit. Because now we can go at least a week before we get filled again. Or full again, not filled again, full again. Yeah, my brain's not going to work too well today. It's flipping hot here. It's like 95 degrees out, 82% humidity, I think it said. Yeah, and it's nice and toasty. So the two upper fields we will do, because the lower, well, I can spray the lower field as well, but that's the one we have to seed. That's probably going to be the first one we see, just so I know that these set of fields are done. Round and round we go. But it's good to get some of the fields completely done. They're all set for the winter. So right now I think we got about, I got like 3 workers going, seeding some fields. Oh, my driving is just terrible. I've been playing FS a little bit before I recorded this, so I'm getting used to the steering in that game, and you come back to another game and your steering is off completely. Did I fertilize that field down there? Well, it is going to look different because this is seeded and that one isn't. So yeah, the soil is going to look a little bit different. Yeah, 80% left in the tank, so we got plenty. So I'll probably do the other field as well. I mean, we are down here with the tanker. But I'm hoping to have most of the fields done by like September 20th. It just gives me a few days to get the farm and everything settled for the winter, so when April 1st comes, we're all set to go. 10 days is more than plenty, but I would like to do some contracting jobs if I can. Just like transport jobs, fix the building jobs. I'll probably do those off camera, 10 straight days of me doing that and watching me record that for like half an hour. Probably not too fun to watch. But I'm going to do that just to get some of our money back from hiring all the workers and, you know, social points, that kind of thing. Yeah, 77% sprayed on this field. And as we saw in a previous field where I sprayed with the manure and then another field where I didn't, I mean, it does pay dividends to get fertilized well. Alright, now we're down here. We'll spray this field now. And then if we have any left in the tank, maybe I'll, well, maybe not, because I'm not going to have enough to do another field, I don't think. But this is step 1 today. Definitely use some slurry up so we can get some more room in our storage tank, which we have done now. And of course, once I get done here, we'll go top off the slurry tank again, and that'll give us tons of room in there. And you do want to make sure that tank is empty when you go off in the winter, because the cows will refill it right during the winter. As far as I know, they haven't changed that. So if we emptied the tank on the last day of September, when we get up April 1st, we'll have 50,000 in the storage tank. That's why I kind of want to get the field sprayed by the 20th. It allows us to refill these tankers as soon as we can. But every little bit of a slurry that we get, I'm going to try to spray on some fields because the winter crop produces so much, so it's worth it. And I already lost track of what field I was in. Like, this is not the corner I thought I was in, because I'm in the wrong field already. So like I said, after we do this, the rest of the video probably be us seeding the fields, I should say. Maybe 3 of them, definitely 2. We'll see how I feel as I record here, because like I said, it's hot where I am. No, I don't have AC installed in my house. I do have air conditioning units. Where I live, we really don't ever really need them. And I don't feel like installing them just to use them for 4 days is really worth my time. So I'm gonna be a farmer and man it out and suck up this hot weather that we're having. 93%. That's good. How much is in the tank? 8%. So not enough to go to another field. What I may try to do though is there are some bare spots in this field up here, because we are just shy of 90%. You're hitting these little corners right here. Should do it. Yep, 90%. Alright, so for now we're done doing spraying some cow manure, or as I like to call it, liquid slurry. So what we're going to do is we're going to go top off this tank, which will give us tons of room in the storage area, so we wouldn't have to really worry about it for the rest of the year. But yeah, we're going to be using it all at some point. No worries there. Now, I didn't check the storage for seed. Now, I should have plenty of canola. Last I remember, I thought we had like 5,000 seeds. Yeah, so now we're getting tons of room in our storage area. Really, I can't get it so that shows it just right. Alright, so we're going to be down in the 60 percentile area, somewhere around there. Well, I just can't seem to get the right camera angle today. How are we doing? Oh, we're almost full. Yep, dropping our storage down to 50% actually. So let's go up here. We'll drop off the full tanker. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to leave it right here. It's not like we won't be using it anytime soon. So we'll hop over here. We'll hook up to the seed drill. Fill up with some canola. There we go. Actually, while I'm here, let me grab my scaffolding like I always do, and I can't remember if I... Yeah, we better do that. So there goes $30 down the drain. Or into our crops, I should say. Hope it's not going down the drain. Let's see, canola. Yes, we actually almost got 6,000, but we're going to use a lot of that for sure. So we're going to head down over the hill, because this field is seeded with wheat. That's all set to go. 86% on the liquid slurry, 89% that, and that's got wheat. So we'll check our rotation of fields up here as we go, just to make sure that everything is done correctly. Man, it would really suck if I forgot to, do something to one of these fields. So it's plowed, cultivated, fertilized, and manure, 100% canola. Plowed, cultivated, fertilized, manure, canola. So we come down here, and it's plowed, cultivated, fertilized, manure, no crop until now. Lower the bridge, set the cruise control on, and yeah, this will take me a while. But as each day passes, I get more and more excited about, you know, springtime coming and harvesting the spring canola, and just watching the money go up rapidly. I'm hoping this, well, next year's spring cleanout we gross $1 million. I think that's kind of what I'm shooting for. But yeah, I'm just going to be a little bit concerned about if the update doesn't come sometime soon, because after the spring cleanout, I think we'll just really take our time on fields and not try to get so many harvests done and all that, because we'll have the money. I'll probably do like a lot of other people's jobs. Maybe we'll start working on doing social points and getting that up, because in the springtime there'll be a lot of plow jobs and things like that. Maybe it'd be good to, you know, kind of take a year off from, well, not a full year off, but a slow year on the farm of doing our own crops. I mean, what we could do is just plant a lot of corn. That will just extend the harvest time for that season. I already know the big field I'm going to put corn into it. But we're going to use a lot of canola seed today. I know we had 6,000 stored. We'll probably use maybe a couple grand of that for sure. And really, I'm not sure 6 grand is going to be enough for the amount of fields that we have to do. But I think for now, like always, instead of you watching me make laps around here over and over and over again, I shall see you in a second. It looks like if I'm careful enough, I'll have enough seed in the seed drill to finish this field. Just barely. So I can't overlap too much. I can't run too much where I've already seeded. But after we get done seeding this, we are going to run to the agricultural store. Because before I brought you back here, I went to see, to hire a worker, how much it would be for them to plow the field, and I wrote down he was going to charge us $482 to sow the field. So what I want to do is see how much. I think this holds 860 grains of seed. We'll see how much 860 grains of seed cost, and see if it's actually cheaper to hire a worker or do it ourselves. And I can't remember how much seed goes for on canola. Because if you go to, see, we're in this field right here. Yeah, so he charges $482 to seed canola. Just want to double check that, just to make sure. Just to make sure. See how we doing. I got 6% left in the tank, and we're about 97% done. So I should have enough to finish up this field. And then our first 5 fields are complete and ready for winter. A lot of our fields just need to be sprayed, fertilized, so it's not like we got that much work to do. Then again, we do have enough work to do. So what's the percentage of this field? So at least it's going to be 99% seeded. So we're just going to call it a full tank. So I don't plan on actually buying any seed. I just want to see how much the seed is going for, because I kind of forgot. But I really do want to see if it's, you know, hiring the workers to seed the fields, if it's cheaper or about the same. We don't want scaffolding. So we go in here, agricultural store, canola. So 8. So we'll call that like 860, close enough. So basically, it cost us almost I'll even lower it. $550. $550. Excuse me, 550 euros for 860 kilograms. Even if the tank held 800 kilograms, I think it's 860. It's still roughly 550. So if I could have hired a worker, it would have cost me 482 euros for him to seed that field. And right now, it basically costs us, you know, we're just going to say 550 with gas and everything. So yeah, it's cheap. It's actually cheaper to hire someone to seed the field than do it yourself. We'll do another test in another field as well, just to see if it keeps coming up that way. But first things first, let's go back to the farm. We'll top off the seed drill because, you know, we're empty. We'll just make sure it's 860. I believe it is 860. Then I got to go seed another field. It is getting to be 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so we're only going to seed 2 fields today. But what I also may do is see how many workers we got still going, which I probably maybe 1 worker, and then maybe we'll start hiring some guys to seed the fields down at the other end. Or maybe I'll wait and do 1 more field just to see if it is cheaper. But that field that we just seeded, it would have been cheaper if I could have actually gotten a worker to do so. But we'll do 1 more field to test it and see how it is. But I do believe the seed drill holds 860. Let's see if it proves me wrong. Yes, okay. Yeah, I know I'm hungry, so let's just eat, get it over with. I've kind of been ignoring that for a bit. Enter, fill it up. Yeah, so yeah, it does hold 860 kilograms. So I would say that field down there, like you said, it would cost us like 580. So it was $100, 100 euros more for us to seed it rather than if we hired a worker. So as of right now. Oh yeah, so I was going to do another. So right now, this is the field canola. So let me write down this price. So we'll just say, call that 540. Which for us is a full seed drill. But I think I can seed that field completely. No, maybe not. Well, we'll find out. So if I have to go refill the seed drill by sowing this field, then the hiring a worker would have been cheaper. But the reason why I am doing it is because I can't hire a worker for this field. So the question is, am I going to use more than 1 tank in the seed drill? And I think I do. Oh yeah, this is plowed, cultivated, and fertilized. None of these fields up here have been liquid sprayed yet. Depending on what time I get done, we may do these fields up here as well. It's a possibility. So all of our workers are done right now too. But I want to see. I won't hire any more workers for today. We'll see how our calculations come up with this field to see if it is cheaper to hire a worker to seed your fields. And then maybe starting tomorrow we'll start seeding some fields at the other end of the farm. kind of depending on what the results are after doing this field. I think the results are going to vary here or there, but when it comes to, I think it doesn't really matter at this point, hiring a worker to seed your field. I mean, that field down there, obviously, yes, it would have been cheaper to hire a worker. My guess is this field here might be equal, but we'll find out. We'll find out together. But you can just hear the money going into the ground, can't you? It'll pay off in springtime for sure. We'll have so much money by mid-April next year. I'm really not going to know what to do with it. So, I mean, we got enough money now. But man, if we add another €1,000,000 on top of what we have now, that's ridiculous. That's what I'm saying. Next year, I think next season I'll start focusing again on social points, and maybe just doing some field work here and there. Maybe hire workers do most of the work. Take their time. Ignore some fields, like the big field. I may just do one harvest in next year. Alright, but I need to focus on this year first. We'll worry about next year down the line. But once again, I think it's a good time to me say, I'll see you in a second. So, yeah, like I just said. See you in a second. Well, I know I've said this before about the fields, but the first field that we seeded this morning, that field is exactly 2 hectares big, and I just barely finished seeding that field, and we have like 35 seeds left in the tank, whatever. This field is 2¼ hectares, which means this field is 1/4 hectare bigger than the previous field, and I'm not even worried about finished seeding it. So I got 25 kilograms left of seed left in the tank, and we're at 92% seeding the field. So I know I've said this before, I can't really trust too much of what the farm stats say what size the field is, because in theory, if the other field is 2 hectares, this seed drill can cover a field of 2 hectares, just barely. This tank should run out when seeding this field, and I'm going to have more than enough left over. But also, what this will do is, it was kind of a little bit cheaper for us to seed this field rather than hire a worker. A worker would have charged $540, and we know to fill this tank up with canola, it costs us $550. So in theory, since I will have some seed left over, because we still got like 17% left in here, it is just a little bit cheaper for us to seed this field. But the previous field, it was cheaper to hire a worker. But if they're going on based on what the size of the field is, and that's how much the worker gets, I think they need to recalculate the size of the fields. I don't know how they do that in the game. But either that field down, the first field that we did, is bigger than 2 hectares, or this field is smaller than 2¼ Yeah, because what are we at? We're going to be at right around 15% left in the tank, which in theory I should have had to gone down to the farm and refilled it. But I did get it to 99.48% seeded. And yeah, I don't plan on seeding another field tonight. It is nighttime. Yeah, it's going to be 5:30. But what we are going to do is we're going to go back. We will empty the Seadrill. And we will park the Seadrill just in front of the storage area because I'll probably be using it again the next day. I got at least 2 more fields up here that we need to seed. Unless those fields down there are ready for harvest, and I may do that as well. We have no rush to need to go out and do the spraying of the slurry, since our storage tank now is down to 50%, so we have plenty of room for the moo cows to produce more slurry. Like I said, let's go drop off the Seadrill after we empty it. Wow, so it's so hot where I am right now. I'm just pulling into the shade here, and I felt my body get cooler for no particular reason. Yeah, that's in game where the shade is, not in real life. So we will drop the Seadrill here, disconnect it. Alright. Let's go up and spray some more of the good stuff. And we'll have more fields ready for the winter. Make sure I'm on the furthest out camera so I can kind of see the spray zone. Like we already said before, we don't have enough slurry to even do the fields all up by the farm. So we won't be taking any trips with the slurry tankers down to the other fields. But let me make some laps around a couple of these fields, and when this tank's empty, we'll bring it back, refill it, and we'll call it a day. A hot day. Well, I got the field done that we were in. I sprayed the field that we just seeded, and now we're doing the little field over by Oliver's. So I'll just leave that big field up there to do on this set, but I won't be doing that tonight because our tank is probably going to be just about empty here. Yeah, we're down to 13%. And I have been getting up into the 90 percentile spraying the manure down. Yep, we're up in the 90s on this one as well, so we'll call that good. Turn that off. Actually, I think this field right here, I didn't quite get 90%. Maybe I did. Can't remember. Even though it was just about a minute or so ago. Oh, come on, hitbox. I wasn't hitting that sign. Hey, Victoria. Yeah, 88%. So let's see if I can... Looks like I missed a big section right here, so maybe that'll get us up there. 90%, yay! Let's have a party. So we'll go down, top off the tank once again. So we got 8 fields that are completely ready for winter. 20 more to go. But a lot of these up here just need to be sprayed. So I mean, it's, like I said, we got some work to do, enough work to do, but not that much work to do. The big field's still going to take a couple days to work on. We still got to see that. That's definitely going to take me all day. But I could actually break that up into 2 days because the growth stage is not going to matter too much. So this morning we started with 96% of our storage capacity, and time we're done here, It's going to be down, what, upper 20s, low 30s? Yeah, definitely in the 20 percentile range. Which is, like I said, not enough to cover the fields even around the farm that we have. Jeez, we're going to drop down to the teens. I don't even have enough for another tank after this. That's how fast you whip right through it. So we're left with 7,300 in the storage tank. We started the day with somewhere probably around 47,000. But once again, I'm just going to park this right here. Wife's tractor has plenty of gas in it, so that's not too much of a concern. But since it's the wife's tractor, we are going to wash it. Lights out. Once again with the scaffolding, really. So at least we got to talk to the wife today, so she should be all set for a couple days. I washed it. Well, geez. Same to you, Miss Attitude. That time of the month, is it? Must be. So, if we go to our map here. So this field is seeded, plowed and cultivated. No fertilization in that whatsoever. Yeah, so where did I leave off fertilizing? So we just did artificial fertilizer on these fields here. So let's just make sure plowed, cultivated, fertilized 188%, which means both stages, and it's got canola on it. Fertilization 190, canola, cultivated, plowed, canola, fertilized 192, cultivated, plowed. These fields should be wheat, double fertilized. Yep, good, good. I know we checked these fields once, but I just want to make sure when I call it a day. They all look good, so yeah, I got to fertilize this one, and that'll be done. And then we got to artificial fertilize and spray these fields all along in here. And then at some point, we got these fields to prep up and go. But we got well, in my book, we got 9 more days. I want to get them all done by September 20th, which should be no problem because there's no rain in the forecast, so we should be good to go there. But yeah, that's going to do it for today's episode, guys. Like always, thank you for watching. Hopefully it was entertaining for you. And I shall see you in the next episode. But until then, have a good one.